It's January 3rd, 2019, so it's time for another monthly update video in which I'll talk about what we've got coming up in January and what went on in December. I'll also be doing another sort of end of the year wrap up, the year to come video a little bit later this month. I might do a video premiere with that. We'll see. I'll figure out exactly what I'm doing and announce it later. But before that, I always bring up three big things for the month ahead. And the things that we've got going on are pretty exciting this month. Big thing number one, I know I've promised this, but I will be bringing out some new teachable classes, some of them actually free, over the course of this month. So pay attention to my social media where you'll see those listed as they appear. Big thing number two, we're moving into year 4, believe it or not, of the Worlds of Speculative Fiction series. I picked 9 of the authors, and I had my fans, subscribers, readers, viewers come up with the other 3. So if you missed the announcement about that, I'll link to the blog post in Orexis de Noetique about that. Maybe I'll shoot a video about the series as well. Coming up for the year and talk about it a bit. And of course there's the online teachable class where you can see all the videos and get the resources as well. Big thing number 3, I'm beginning the first preliminary work on a massive editing project. As many of you know, I'm the editor of Stoicism Today, and it's about time that we brought out another volume of Stoicism Today selected essays. That is one of my big goals for the year, and it begins with this month with me going through and laying some of the groundwork for that. So those are the 3 big things. Let's talk now about the month of December. December was quite a busy month for me, but you might not have suspected it by looking at my online presence because I didn't actually create and release all that much content, but it was because of everything else that was going on. I did have a few events, some of them online, some of them face-to-face here. We had the final Worlds of Speculative Fiction series talk of the year, this time on Gene Wolfe, a living author. Had a great time with that. We've got the video for that linked to below. I went on the Scrouse's radio show, Image for Hire, and we talked about doing philosophy, and then we talked about H.P. Lovecraft. You can see the video for that below. And then, of course, there was the monthly Stoic Fellowship, and I was able to take my son Matthew along to that. He has actually been studying a little bit of Epictetus, so I thought it would be good, and he had a great time at the fellowship. Then, of course, we had our usual Hegel sessions and the pop-ups and the AMA, Ask Me Anything session. You can see videos for some of those linked to below. It was a very busy month in terms of classes. I taught 5 different classes, 2 of them online, intensive, 8 and 7 week classes, 3 of them face-to-face. I was teaching for 4 different institutions. So all of that was coming to an end around the middle to 3/4 mark of December, just before the holiday times. And it seemed like there was an extraordinary amount of work involved with various student issues and grading and giving tests and students needing to reschedule their exams. At Marquette, one of my exams was actually scheduled for the very last day, the very last hour, so some of the students, understandably enough, needed to reschedule that since their parents had already made arrangements for them to travel wherever they were going, some of them to California, some of them to Hawaii, the places that they came from. So there was a lot of student work involved. 4 different learning management platforms. I was working in Blackboard, Sakai, Moodle, and D2L. So that was just on the course end. Then I had all of my work with my clients, doing consulting, philosophical counseling, a lot of tutorial work, especially as the semester comes to an end, some academic coaching, and then there was my kids arriving, and my kids didn't arrive until after Christmas this year, but then they were here, and I think I've learned the lesson by now that when they're here, I probably shouldn't plan on getting an awful lot done, except perhaps in the summer visitation. So I just kind of, after I got the grading stuff done, Andy and we took it easy for about, a week, although she was actually having to do a lot of work on her end. And then the kids arrived, and we had a great time with them. So, a lot of activity and, getting to see some relatives and friends as well. I did get some work done on writing. I worked on that book project, which focuses on how to make end-of-life decisions well for aging and ill pets. I did some other writing in blogs, particularly Erexis Dianoetike, and I got some content worked up that I need to start working through. I also did video work, as usual. Didn't do as much as I had originally hoped. I got 3 of the 6 half-hour Hegel videos, which is better than the 2 and the 1 and the 0 of the previous months, but I'm still not up to the full quota of 6, but hopefully that is going to change. And I shot some Augustine core concept videos, did videos, of course, of the various events, and so all of those have been posted. The Augustine videos, interestingly, are getting a lot of traction, much more than I thought they would have. I guess a lot of people have been waiting for that content. So that's what took place in December. And now let's talk about January. This month is going to be pretty busy, but it's going to be a lot of behind-the-scenes sorts of things. I do have quite a few events lined up, although not as much as I do in some other months of the year. We begin on the 8th at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time with a Hegel Q&A. That's public. Anybody can come if you have an interest in German idealism or in Hegel or in philosophy in general. Pop in and join the conversation. Then here locally at the Brookfield Public Library on the 10th at 7 p.m., we will kick off year 4 of the Worlds of Speculative Fiction series, this time talking about one of the great-grandfathers of horror and speculative fiction, Edgar Allan Poe. So that's going to be, if you're in the area, you don't want to miss that. We're going to have a great conversation. Hopefully we'll actually have enough room for all the attendees, because I think that one's going to be a big draw. On the 12th at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, online event, I'll have my Ask Me Anything session. Open to anybody to ask me whatever they want. Usually I plan them for an hour, and we usually go an hour and a half, and there's still questions left over. Then on the 19th, about a week from then, at 3 p.m., we'll have our philosophy chat for Patreon supporters. And finally, finishing up on the 31st, the very last Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. at the Shorewood Public Library, we will have our MKE, that is Milwaukee Stoic Fellowship meeting. We're currently working through Epictetus's discourses, so if you have an interest in Stoicism, you don't have to be particularly well versed in it. It's a place for learning. Just pop in, and we're happy to have you and to discuss the works with you. Classes are beginning, not this coming week, but the week after that. And I have 5 more classes this semester. I have 2 with Marquette University, 2 with Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design, and 1 with Milwaukee Area Technical College. I'm very fortunate in that all of these are within about a mile's walk of where I live here in Milwaukee, but I am going to be one busy guy, because that's more than a full-time load. You might say, well, why did you take on so many classes? Well, because I got a lot of requests for teaching, and people, the students really like the classes that I offer, and I do enjoy the face-to-face teaching. So I decided to take on this much, and we'll see how it goes. Fortunately, all but one of these classes are courses that I've taught a number of times before, and the one outlier is a really cool class for the Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design, Ethics for Artists and Designers. And maybe I'll actually do a video about that once I get the reading list put up and the curriculum, because that's a really cool applied ethics class. So I'm looking forward to that and hanging out with my students and seeing where they're coming from and getting to chat and building the course sites. And that's a lot of work. Then I, of course, have my client work through Reason.io, doing consulting, doing academic coaching, tutorials. I've got a few new clients beginning with me, and some philosophical counseling as well. So that will keep me quite busy. There's a lot of planning going on right now behind the scenes for what we're going to be doing. I want to get to some of my academic writing projects and some popular writing as well. And like I pointed out, I will be doing some editing work, not just the regular stuff for Stoicism Today, which is already kind of a big commitment, but to try to bring out a new volume of selected essays from the previous 2.5 years of Stoicism Today. I'll also be bringing out, as I pointed out earlier, some new classes in my Teachable Academy. I've retitled it as Study with Dr. Sadler. So if you just type Study with Dr. Sadler, that should come up. Otherwise, I'll simply put the link below for you. So that's a lot of stuff going on. That's not even getting to the videos, which we should talk about now, right? You're watching one of them at this moment. As I mentioned, I need to get cracking on the half-hour Hegel videos. I want to get some more momentum going, get us up to 6 videos per month. And I've got to start shooting some new core concept videos that I'm going to be using in my classes this semester. So I just finished shooting some videos earlier today on Plato's Allegory of the Cave. I got to do some other Plato stuff on Book 6 of the Republic. And then I'm going to get to the Arendt videos that I wanted to do before on Eichmann and Jerusalem. There's some Augustine videos. We're switching to doing Augustine's on free choice of the will, so I need to do some videos on that. Descartes' Meditations. I did videos on Descartes' discourses, but now I need to do some on Descartes' Meditations. And so that's really the stuff that's on the docket for this month. I probably won't be releasing all of it this month, but I will be shooting all of it this month. And if I get really ambitious, I'll also shoot some Anselm and Aquinas materials as well. I'm going to shoot some book review videos. Hopefully, I'm going to get started on that this weekend. And I do have a few other Q&A videos from those old series that I was doing before, mostly about Stoic philosophy. I'll shoot those this month. And I might do a video premiere. We'll see how that works out. If I do a premiere, you'll see it on my Facebook page, and I'll announce it in other places as well. I should mention that there are other videos that my Patreon supporters get to see that not everybody does. I shoot these slice of life videos, and I'll start doing those much more frequently for my Patreon supporters. And then there's also outtakes and bloopers and things like that that they get to see as well. The last thing I should mention, podcasts. I'm going to start, getting work done on the podcast again, the Sadler's Lectures podcast. I was in the middle of podcast episodes on Epictetus's discourses, so I'm going to be producing more of those. I've got quite a few lecture videos that need to be given that treatment. And then after that, I'll get on to some Aristotle material. What exactly, I'm not quite sure. I have to think about what needs to get out first. I have over 150 Aristotle videos, so there's a lot of content to be converted. The last thing that I'll mention is, we are lining up speaking opportunities and engagements for the year to come. If you're interested in having me come speak, send me an email at greg@reason.io, and we'll talk about whether it's feasible and how to make it happen. If you're interested in bringing me in, you can either do so yourself or suggest to a local organization, whatever it is, a university, library, church, let's bring this guy in to talk. and I'm game for doing travel. It'll be a little bit of trickiness if it's very distant from here, given my teaching schedule, but we can always make it happen. So there's that. Check out the Teachable Academy. Check out the videos as I'm releasing them, and stay tuned for stuff coming from Stoicism Today and from the various blogs that I write for as well as edit. A lot of stuff lined up. Hope you have a great month, and hopefully I'll see some of you at these events, whether online or face-to-face.